Hello everyone, this is Drizzly Z, you can call me Lee, and here we are. Episode 2, or Case 2 of The Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. And Soseki Natsume is here with the Memoirs of a Clouded Kokoro. And I guess, you know, when he said that he wasn't allowed to talk about that case, he meant even to the audience. We weren't allowed to see it until now. Ain't that fucking crazy? What Sholmes up to, huh? Here we go, baby. We're back to Britain! And we get to see Susato with Ryunosuke again.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night.
Ghastly.
One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road.
Another fucking pavement crime?
As the victim lay at death's door.
Wait, again?
The mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind.
Okay, never mind. Okay, cool.
But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day.
Ah, hell.
Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas.
Oh, he's hallucinating. You should get a canary.
Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising
Who is
of
this
the
clown?
curtain on a most tragic play.
Wait, is this that one clown that showed up in the middle of Soseki's case last time, but never like, my name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. Yeah, is it that one like clown that showed up in the first game and then never showed up again? Like, Ryunosuke was real chill about that moment too, if I remember. He straight up did not really react. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, even though I really wasn't studying law prior to that. But you know, that's my job now. Having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Herlock Sholmes. Seriously, what's the shovel for? I'm confused. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I've run my legal consultancy of sorts. Not quite, you know, a law office yet. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since the particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. Wait, why? Are they racist? Or did you fuck up? But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Oh, damn. Wait. Huh. Oh, is this the letter that Susato was writing at the end of the last case? Wait, she was writing a letter, right? Because she was like, oh, in case you forgot, here's all the case details from that case that we don't talk about. Hongi. A Hongi boy. Susato's not here to make him his morning tea. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. His 10-year-old flatmate. His room is, like, just about as cluttered as the Write Anything agency.
Oh, Bruno, good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
How do you even reach the stove? A stupid question. She probably has an invention that does that. Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the abstruse thing from my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. What, like guessing what my news is? I mean, I guess. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, I see. So, oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. So that's it. What is your deal, brother? The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. It's gonna be wrong again, I swear to God. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise! I said that already. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course. Though I don't look for admiration, you understand. Not offering it. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? Listen, his powers of observation are not quite up to snuff compared to, you know, Rinosuke. And even the 10-year-old that lives with him. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Oh, hey, yo, what were you doing last night to rip his button off? Listen, Kazuma's still alive. I'm not here for a fun time.
Hurley pulled your button off? Doing what? Like ironing it?
Hey, yo. Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped! Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. What? Huh? Why? Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Sorry, the string snapped, so your first instinct was, I gotta rip a button off of something. You are a strange man. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was an erring.
But, Hurley, Runo said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
He's so dumb. He's just as dumb as ever, baby. Well, that really is a surprise. Is it? Yeah, this chucklefuck is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Why? Honestly, could not tell you. I mean, I guess the reason why is because Iris is such a damn good writer. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion, and 10 years old. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. You know, Saseki could never. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published in Rance magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? I was going to tell you, and then you started doing your ADHD shit. Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really?
That's right. And she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us about it over breakfast.
Oh, yes, what fun!
Hold on. I gotta look around, bro. Maybe I can find my fucking button. I don't see it on the floor anywhere here. That machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remember its name.
Hurley calls it his great analytoscope. Analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all.
Like, literally anything? That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key. And I confess I have no idea! What? Who made this? Clearly I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope. A great analytoscope to solve the problem. That might not help. I think you should just, like, ask an engineer. I don't know, man. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. What the fuck is a gunnel? Mrs. Sato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves.
Oh, why not?
Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down.
So what you're saying is that everything below the top layer is just inaccessible.
Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset.
You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. No, I do not! Everything is where I need it to be. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion, a fucking Stradivarius. The shit's like $10,000. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous?
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, you know?
But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes? I found it at a pawnbrokery among forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the label. What? The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see, so I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter! I mean, I don't know how much 55 shillings is, but that's cheap for a fucking Strad, you know? But is it really a Stradivarius then? Yeah, that's the thing. But of course, my dear fellow, it said so on the label! I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. What a fucking moron. It's not even a Strad. That's crazy. Anything else? No? Okay, let's look over here then. Where'd my button go? Bruh. Ah, yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. Very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut.
The chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yeah, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside.
Oh, that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. And Hurley, I guess. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What, is there a beast inside there or something?
No. I simply put, you know, a bear trap in there. Modified, of course. Enough to instantly kill a human.
When it gets to this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hearts alight all day long, and I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space, really, no use at all.
Rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and no criminals, Hurley?
But consider this, instead of a fireplace, a frost place! That's my latest idea. I mean, that's a thing in Don't Starve. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think? It's just air conditioning. I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. Ah yes, Mr. Air Conditioner. The principle is extremely simple. One must of course light a cold fire in the hearth. Yeah, of course. Brilliant, man. Uh-huh. The trouble is none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me. So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib. The fuck does that mean? I hate British people. These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Sholmes? Not quite, Mr. Naruhodo, not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. These are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruhodo, memories. Really? So, tell me the case in which the bust of Napoleon featured. I forget.
Hurley, you bought that at a garage sale.
Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Sholmes, wonderful. He's a little dumb. He's a little stupid. You know? Nothing else? Is my button here? Hello? Button, please? I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day.
Oh, well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time.
Oh, yes. That's because different blends can have very different properties. And you are my, personal guinea pig. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. This one gives you psychosis.
That sounds ominous. Yeah, because it gives you psychosis. Yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle. Oh, that's a Sherlock Holmes case.
Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for garnet, you see. Especially if it's cut with a rounded top.
Huh. Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, was it?
Huh. Well, that's the thing. They're usually reds. No blue garnets have ever been discovered.
Oh.
So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case.
I see. A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, huh? Maybe they just made shit up. I don't know, man. There's so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves. I know at least half of those are different kinds of poisons.
Oh, do be careful, Bruno. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles. Even if you're hungry, they are highly poisonous.
I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know.
But I am. I'm almost all, a PhD doctor with many poisons. Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
He what? And he's alive?
He said he was hungry.
Bruh. Sorry, what? I'll be extra careful. Bruh. he's like, I knew he was dumb, but like, he's that dumb?
I can type with my eyes shut, you know?
I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. Those exist right now?
It reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you might just have fallen asleep on the job. That's alright. You're literally 10. Welcome to Memories of the Heart or something, yeah. Something about my KOKORO. I guess my button will never be found. Tragic. Miss Suzato's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing! I wish I could read it.
It's written in English.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask?
She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she pulls off drag very nicely, and she included a photo. Oh, damn. You know what? Yes. She's pretty fucking handsome. She actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume? No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. Ah, the mustache twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. Yeah.
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Then why'd you forget? Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you. Clearly. So what was this startling news penned by Mr. Zato? You remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of the nature did not occur. He doesn't remember. This fucking loser. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Zato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. That took place half a year ago. For what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes! It was very strange, wasn't it?
In what sense? Yeah.
And I'd compiled the whole story into a nice neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that? Are you sure? Okay, listen, he's an idiot, but this is gaslighting. This is gaslighting, for sure. Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Zato suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan. Hold on. Just like out of curiosity. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shh! Not another word. Ah, yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck. And for winter use. It's my armband. You see me wear it every day. Actually, it's the armband I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. Your arm is a very long dog's neck. Your arm is in fact the particularly long neck of a miniature canine. Wow, he's actually dumb. I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. What a fucking moron. Miss Susato's reparation.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Yeah. Because of fucking Mikotoba. Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No. It said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home. Why would he do that?
I don't know, maybe there's something sus going on here in England and he didn't want her to be part of it? I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Mrs. Sato's father's hiding, and what fucking Sholmes is hiding, dude!
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
I know some things, but I'm not allowed to say. Oh, well, who can say? Bruh. What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar's quite surprisingly full today. Is it? Is it fucking full, dude? And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel. Even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley. Don't worry. See you later.
Girl, he's hiding shit from you. Scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last!
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case, that's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Yeah. Narrative framing. Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Oh, shit. New track, baby. I still have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit!
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Narrative framing! Woo! Everything from what happened to our investigation and the fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world because no one's hiring me. Oof. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Huh. But why though? I can't believe, he did it before... You know what? Phoenix Wright getting disbarred? That's old news, baby. So did your ancestor. Be more original, I guess. I'm sorry, hold on. Hold on, like... I got here, I practiced law, like, I won a couple cases, and then they disbarred me. Like, in less than a... Like, not even 3 months in. That's crazy. It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Oh, she dead. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. Huh. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Whoops! Whoopsie-daisy! Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And, after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. And then the fucking bitch got arrested again! Can you believe it? Joyful joys! Jubilant jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived because he immediately got arrested for another crime. This man cannot stay away from the courtroom. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. Huh. Ooh. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Ha! Hurry to Bart's at once! Bart's? Oh, the hospital. So Susato and I summoned a hansom? Like a carriage? And headed immediately to the hospital. Here we go, baby. Do we get to talk to her? Who the fuck is that? Is that the coal man? Look at that rat! That's a big-ass rat. I'm sorry, is that the fucking Michelin man over there? Like... There you are at last! Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Was she painting? I think not. Oh! You're late! What on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes. And it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is I've been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. You have ADHD. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim's over there. She's only just regained consciousness. Hi. What was your name again? Olive? You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her back.
Her name is... yes, here we are. Miss Green.
Miss Olive Garden. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. What the fuck is that?
Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
Well, he painting. Looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Huh. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think? I don't know, they have the same haircut.
My, Naruhodo. I didn't think you had a sense for the matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. They could be siblings. It could be both. I really don't want it to be. I can't look at this easel. This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it?
Ah, I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe. Used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you'd call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Hey. Different body types, man. Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Huh. Like what? Drawing you, or what? This looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. Oh, wow. Really? Really? It's just fat jokes, huh? What is this place, a zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons. Yes, this is a person. Poor woman. Hope she hasn't read this. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with them? There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you're a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one. Clearly, they've never had psych patients, ever.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits to even what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Zato. Rat. Ratto.
Hey! A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo! An enormous mouse!
I guess it is a mouse. Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of the facility, if that's what you're thinking. Huh. Rat hospital, baby.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. Change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
But the young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. Really? Just because she's fat doesn't mean that she carries around sweets, Naruhodo. The fuck? What's your damage, brother? The fuck is this? There's all sorts of medicines in this cabinet, look. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you are so peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
like Carlock. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Zato. It does, you know, enable Sholmes, though. This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital. Huh.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital, then.
Oh dear. How worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Mental checkup or something, I don't know, man. Hello. Good morning. Hi. Woo. Hello, I'm, Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no! Was it your knife that... are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one?
No.
No. I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come give you our best wishes. Best wishes for me? Thank you.
What is... She's got a key around her neck. Paintbrushes, and it's an ill-fitting coat, I guess. Why can't they make, fat characters just have clothes that fit? Like, those clothes exist. It's not like she's, too big for the, human tailor mind to comprehend, bruh.
I'm Olive. Olive Green. I'm an artist.
No, that's not right, is it? Well, what I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. Oh, I get it. Because your top knot thing looks like a paintbrush, I see. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. What? I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
This is me at my friends. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I guess. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
Oh, it was so cold that day. The fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing.
That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time.
I mean, 4 days ain't bad. You ever seen fucking senior year? She was comatose for what, 20 years?
But the case has been solved, hasn't it?
Well, I've been here in the hospital, I mean. Indeed it has, my dear madam, spectacularly, by none other than I, Herlock Sholmes. You did basically nothing, Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in the court that solved the case.
Are you, yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming in to fill me shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
What?
Oh no. We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
Oh. With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Stop being depressed. Just get over it. Hold on. Oh, I guess I can't present. Yeah, okay. About yourself. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh, no! Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
Huh. Damn, okay. Phoenix.
Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away from the, on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Hello, April! Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means. That's where the poor people live, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means? I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. She was buying some books, man. What of it? Sorry, hold on, stretching. Oof.
Ooh.
What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh, dear me, do forgive me. I don't really care that much, though.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. I'm like, here's the theory I'm just like throwing out there. So Seki gets like attacked by like a shadow man, right? Like a coal mist man. And the like little preview of Miss Green's like lover, brother, one of those things. Like from a distance is like blacked out. I think he did it. Maybe. Probably. I have no idea. Is there a Mr. Narrowfodder here? Mr. Narrowfodder! Narrowfodder now? Dude. Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Oh, Mr. Narrowfodder, good! This is for you! It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutmeg! Saucy Nutmeg. Mr. Natsume sent a message to me?
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? What's the Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time of the morning? Ah! What are you waiting for? Let me see that! Oh. Impatient much? Shit. Well, this is most unexpected. Something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? He says. Have you not seen this note? You took it from me. No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls, a case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That will be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the notes, my dear fellows. Let me read it. Give it back. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll hail a fiacre. Fiacre? I'll hail a fiacre at once.
Okay, what is happening here? What is happening in this house? It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address. May very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Shit. That's not good. Mr. Saucy Nutmeg. It's this clown! What on earth?
Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Mr. Natsume. Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woeful worm without wiggle. Damn, that's the most tragic fate I've ever heard. I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ugh! Not the horrible airlock Sholmes! Shoo, shove off! Show yourself the door! I never invited you! Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Here they are, already, the busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise! He's back at it again with the Frenchy fries. Pleasant, isn't it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes. I think that's the fries, my man. Ha! I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Well, I had fried chicken today. So, maybe I'm gonna have heartburn too. Who knows? Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't go touching anything. Or good morning to you too, sunshine. Well, this sucks. Huh. We can go back to Briar Road, huh? Okay, hold on. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, so I will BRB. Hold on. No one should be eating that much starch. It's true. Oh, I'm back. Alright. What's going on here? Oh, hello! Hello, Ogapan. Okay, so this is what, a theater kid's room? What is this, bro? Oh, this is his set, I guess.
Oh, I said hands off! You're gonna mess up my crime scene!
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance, I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Ugh. Someone's in a bad mood. Do you mean my kind as in Japanese people? Because that's racist. Or xenophobic, rather. If you mean my kind like lawyers, then yeah, you're right, actually. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? Alright, sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. I don't wanna. Ugh, what a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences! Feels bad, man. So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? Oh no, I do not socialize. I have mega social anxiety. He's got some good alliteration, at least. That's all he's got. Interesting. What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It's an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. Oh, were you like fucking? I mean, I'm not gonna judge. Like, you know, I also have a boyfriend. I don't know where he is right now, but did he ever invite me to his room? Never. On my honor, I swear it. What honor, brother? What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there! Okay. Whatever, my man. What are you up to, Gregsy? His honor at the stack of cards. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? And how many theater troupes is he in? How many performances has he put on? I'm sorry.
Mr. William Shamsby.
Oh, his honor is a stack of cards. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No.
Mr. William Shamspeare. It was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss as it happens. Just dead.
Mr. Shamspeare?
It was a landlord, old Mr. Garadeb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. Fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garadeb got worried and kicked the door down.
I bet, doesn't Mr. Garadeb have a bad leg?
Oh, yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Soseki-san? He's in, I don't know what they're called. Geta? Or are they just clogs? I don't know. They're not clogs. I think clogs are like closed-toed. That's Geta, I think.
The victim was pretty hard up.
What?
Hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes.
Oh. Okay. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. The only acquaintances were the people in this house. Huh. So... huh. Well, I can tell that he got a, I can't really show it. Chat's, like, in the way, but, like... Hold on, look. Right over here. He's got one of those patchwork hats from that hat guy. So maybe he's friends with that guy. I don't know, man. Miserable life and a miserable end to it. That's just your average fucking theater kid, man. So what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious, although he definitely fucking does. But I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter. Bruh. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. Body's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Well... Wait. Can I look now? Oi, hands off! My crime scene! I did, though. I talked to him. But I talked to him, though. Oh, hey. I see that. There's a fucking... Maybe it's just, like, aesthetic, but there's a loose floorboard there, huh? This is gonna be some fucking Telltale Heart shit. Can I do anything else? Ah, what the fuck? What is he doing? What is he doing? What is this fucking loser doing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Ha! You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating naturally! You know, I think you probably would have been very good friends. You also have a very natural theater kid aesthetic. There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madam, patience. We're not here in the, we've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. I highly doubt that, brother. My goodness! What? Isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night, from which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is it something that Mr. Sholmes said significant? Is something he said significant somehow? No, don't mind me, forget I was here. Bruh. Least, like, this man cannot be a killer because he would have confessed to it already. And my second conclusion, there is drama, that's true, is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Jesus Christ, He's coked out, bro. Like, even more so than usual. Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No, please pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore. What happened? Another man is dead. And, Soseki is the, like, prime suspect again.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course. Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. Oh, we're getting a Sholmes deduction right off the bat? Okay. Let's do this song and dance, baby. We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. All of them were wrong! No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? The only correct one is Iris's. So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1. Oh, Act 1. There's several. The game is afoot. Well, my game is a hand. Think about it. Cause of death. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Does it? Because Soseki's looking at the butter, question mark? I don't know what that is. Oh. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. I'm sorry, he was eating soap? It would have been more believable if it was butter. I can't believe it's not butter, honestly. Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish? It's like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes! Could it be that the man was just about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Then look at the camera, just like, you know, I'm a bit of a mess, but this is something else. This soap. Yes, soap. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Why are you battling soap, Sholmes? Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. What? It's the fucking cup! The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. He's so stupid. I love him. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. He's so perfectly stupid. Though personally, I have greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. You know, it just really dawned on me. Sholmes eats crayons. And that is a fact. Like, it is something that I just, like, realize, and I know it to be true. He definitely eats crayons. Poisoning from soap ingestion. Jesus Christ. Suicide or murder? The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? You can taste the rainbow now. The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Soseki. He's so sus, bro. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however. Certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I doubt it. It's probably the books behind you, dude. Or the wine. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Sure. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. When you're so hungry, you just eat soap until you die. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. Clean digestive system. No possible perpetrator present. He's so stupid. He's so dumb. Bro. Bro. Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' great deduction. Susato's so funny, because it's just like, oh, he's so wonderful! Like, the Sherlock Holmes in Ranced magazine. He's real in front of me, but every time he does a logic and reasoning spectacular, she's like, oh! Yeah! That's Holmes for ya! That was Iris's voice. Whoops. Yeah, even Gregson's not impressed. There's just one thing, Mr. Holmes, and also many things. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. I don't know, he seems like he's got, you know, a fair amount of cosplay. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. You know, one time I, forgot to, you know, bring enough money for the pawnbrokery, so I ate soap for, you know, 3 months, and I was completely fine. How extraordinary. In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. Of course you have. Of course you have. You've eaten it, you mean. My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. I mean, in a sense, in that you would be, you know, trying to shit that out. And did it? As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilt the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. Non-toxic my fucking ass. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Okay, it has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. Why he dead then? Why he dead then? Believe me, I wouldn't eat it, even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh? What's that?
It's Mr. Natsume. He's extremely suspicious.
I
couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense. Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think he was breaking them, you know?
I think judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deduction may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yeah, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp, by which I mean he completely misses the mark entirely. He said he has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and then drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the keywords in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that. Yes, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. Yes, what he meant to say, and not, a completely different thing that he didn't know about. Sure, man. Sure and for real. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? See, she's in such denial. Of course. That's her hero. Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular Act 1. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Nuh-uh. Cause of death. Poisoning from soap injection. Absolutely fucking not, brother. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. That's just key. Foam at the mouth is clearly, foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap, meaningful indubitably. Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes. What if it's just cake and he's not right? Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. The fucking looks Soseki gives, bro! Well, can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something, or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. But soap? If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And, of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap? Hi. Other piece of soap. There it is. He did not eat it. Oops.
Take that!
But it mismatches. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. Fucking no. Why the fuck? It being the other half of the soap on the table and, it being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really. For no depths of hunger could drive a man to attempt to eat soap. The look Ryunosuke's giving him like he didn't just admit to eating soap. He's so fucking dumb. Oh god, I love him. But father, I love him. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. Okay. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. What? Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Why? Perhaps he's suggesting the men licked the soap rather than ate it. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that pisses people's... Yeah.
passes people's lips, is it?
Yeah, a Western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves. Sorry. Why'd you say it like that? Just call it a fucking teacup, brother.
It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea.
My thoughts exactly.
What's it say? Where could the poison have been laced? The fucking teacup?
Take that!
Ain't the teacup! I like to imagine he's just like interrupting Sholmes. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the great vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. I mean, it's a likely conclusion, but you don't actually know until it's tested, bruh. It does make more sense than soap, though. We technically have not ruled out soap. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's Last Supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far. Brother, why are you saying it like that?
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspear was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it.
More to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues.
Okay. Hold on. Bells. Ruh.
The fork again.
Victim just seems to be holding it so pointedly. Makes it impossible to let go of the idea that it must be involved somehow.
Well, let's hope it turns out to be a useful clue in the end.
Ah, there's another cup. God damn it. It's another Western vessel. It's a teacup! Fuck! Why are you saying that?
Are you trying to impress someone, Mr. Naruhodo? And it too is empty.
Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand, we can assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shamspear was actually drinking. But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. Which is, like, what, one thing? I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Shit.
Take that!
Boop. Did the man dine and die alone? The other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in the room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's Last Supper... Hey, look, he's got a top hat. It's fucking Egg Boy. There was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable! To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Oof. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. It wasn't broken until he bust in here. I'm not sure I like where this deduction's going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap. But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about. Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. No, suppose not. Time to look around again. Oh dear, the latch is most definitely broken, isn't it? The door was kicked in by Mr. Natsume, according to what Mr. Garrideb told the inspector. Who knew his short, thin little legs had so much strength in them? I'm not sure the length of his legs is in any way significant here. Perhaps this says more about the poor state of the door than about Mr. Natsume's strength, actually. Careful. If you overheard that remark, you'd almost certainly have a lively response. I don't know. Can this broken lock really tell us anything about who was here? Candle. Even Mr. Shamspear didn't eat candles, it seems. We've already established that he didn't eat soap either. Do you think perhaps the guest brought this candle here last night? Even if he or she did, does it reveal anything about the guest's identity? Good point. There goes my idea, snuffed out like that candle will be. And then Mr. Sholmes is gonna eat that. If you sigh so deeply, Mr. Naruhodo, you're in danger of blowing out the flame. Glasses. Oh, no glasses? Empty bottle. It's empty. Empty of liquid, but full of air. It makes you think, doesn't it? It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about who else was in the room at the time. Oh, bother. Susato-san's quip in response was cleverer than my original riddle. Books. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially. I wonder what they are. Let's see, the titles read... The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Yearnings, and, A Meal for Gaboriau. Those are the books that he borrowed from the store. That sucks. Shit. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before. Literally like 2 days ago. It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. What? Yeah, on the day of the unfortunate incident, when Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right. And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yeah, and Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think? Does it mean that he, like, stole the books from him? Huh? I really don't know what to make of it. Oh boy. Ain't that fucking fun. Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so, it's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in the room. It's the link to the truth. Mr. Natsume, you purchased those books 4 days ago at a secondhand bookshop? That's just a coincidence. In that case, you'll be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. Shit. No, never. Non-negotiable. If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. I think they were besties.
What is this?
Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have bought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. What the fuck? He JoJo posed all the way there. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. Oops. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... fuck, I just got you out of jail! Was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Fuck! Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. God damn it. Well, it doesn't say that he murdered him. It just says he's at the scene, right? Elementary! Yay! The man we just got off is the killer again. God damn it. Not again, not again, not again! Not again! Well then, Mr. Natsume. What? Oh, wow. I'm sorry, wait. I've never seen his, pile of french fries from this angle. That fry is thick as fuck! Oh my god! It would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard again. But wait! Hold your horses! Welcome back. Yes. Door, key, locked! Entry, exit entirely impossible! Oh, like a locked room murder mystery, huh? He's so flustered he's being even stranger than normal. Oh, you think that's an alibi? You could've just made a copy! What? You live in the same building after all. You had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But... Misery me! Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Herlock Sholmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? You know what? Good for you, man. That's inspiration. Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting. Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire, please. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me, please, please, I'm innocent. Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more thing. Oh, yes? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me. Wagahai. I'm sorry. And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Soseki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Ever watch a Point Crow stream? Just out of curiosity. Never watched a stream, but I've watched a couple of his videos. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. Again. Fuck. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you! God damn it. I just got him out of jail! Not again, bro! Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson's no longer here. God, man. This is Maya all over again, but like faster somehow. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. And of course, I'm sorry, police isn't like, I don't know, gonna take away the body before opening it up to investigation? I don't have to go get his, like, written permission to, like, defend him? Okay. What? Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspear. Ah, Mr. John Garadeb, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. Right. We must remember to go and talk to him later, then. Welp. That sucks. Don't watch streams either, too long. Don't want to watch live ones. Well, I'm glad you're, you know, dropping by here, then. Oh, the poor man, so young to die. Are you sure? Are you sure? Hold on. Oh. You're 31? I thought you'd be like, I don't know, 52 and you just have a crap ton of makeup on. So second, like, Natsume being 33 is a crime, brother. Like, he looks so old. It's the, like, hollowed out face and the mustache. A powdered wig moment. Yes, yes. Olive Garden. Like, you can't fucking tell me that Sholmes is older than Natsume. Like, I know anime is ridiculous, but, like, this is, like, anime is ridiculous. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was? Wouldn't you know you're a girl? I don't know. All we can do now is hope he'll be reborn to a better life. It's what a good attitude and lack of stress does to you. You would think he'd be at least, like, a little bit stressed as a detective, but I think he doesn't notice anything. And then he just arrests people, and then they get arrested, even if they're innocent. Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul? What is this game about? Murder and law. Sorry. I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment. There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? That's a long-ass book. Ah, one of the teacups that Mr. Shamspear and his guests drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside. I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty. Nothing to drink anyway. That's true. So, one was Mr. Shamspear's, and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from. But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later? The pair of teacups has been entered into the court record. I'm yoinking. We got a green, we got a purple. Oh my god, wait, it's Cosmo and Wanda. That's crazy.
This is the teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking.
Yeah, unlike the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean.
I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark.
I always gulp it down too.
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold. And I like it hot.
Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea.
Oh, when is this game set? There's William Shakespeare? I'm sorry, no, you must be mistaken. That is not William Shakespeare, that is William Shamspeare. Also, it's the 1800s. This must be the cup that Mr. Shamspeare was drinking from then. It's stained on the inside.
Tea does that, I'm afraid, even green tea.
Oh, really? Never noticed it before.
You've never noticed?
Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to leave a mark. I'd like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it?
No. What? We have a whole ceremony for it, Mr. Naruhodo. Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. So many people seem to have the wrong idea about our culture, and most of them are Japanese.
Jesus. King. Look at these extravagant bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady goings-on.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. King of the courtroom.
Oh, I think you'd be much more suited to a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like.
With a chonmage top knot? Every Japanese man wishes he had a chonmage. Or, sorry, chonmage. That's the most, like Western thing I've ever said. Chonmage. Okay, chonmage. Is chonmage what Ouchie had? Because, are you sure?
Oh, you'd look wonderful with one! And you already have the sword.
Hold on, I need to Google what a chonmage top knot looks like. Is it just like a ponytail, or is it literally that top knot? Chonmage. No, it's that thing. It's that thing. It's that thing that Ouchie had. Why? They want to be bald on top. I don't understand, bro. Oh, I guess you don't have to. Huh. I'm gonna pretend that Naruhodo just wants like a regular top knot without having to, you know, shave the top of his head. Unfortunate, yes. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmage and a sword? Fun things, surely.
What's this?
It looks like part of an envelope, I think.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
Is that significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter, or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there?
She's right. Which means that whoever killed him, or Natsume, took it from the scene, probably.
And yet, here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. Better take this just in case. Oops. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they?
Yes. Whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament.
Wonder if we're dealing with weaponized incompetence from Mustache? Perhaps. My, like, theory that I'm just gonna throw out there is that Shamspear was trying to kill Natsume for whatever reason. But, like, switched the cups like an idiot. And then killed himself accidentally. And if not that, maybe he's just, like, reenacting Romeo and Juliet, you know?
And judging from the angle of the rip here, that person in question must have been right-handed.
Mr. Zato, I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes.
You can never read too much of it, Mr. Naruhodo, never!
Horribly on brand for him, actually. Yeah. Yeah. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. Looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I've pointed it out. I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here...
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold? Oof.
Yes. Or if you were scatterbrained with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. Hold on. Sorry, I was just snacking. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas.
But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh, yikes.
Oh, yes. You're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's much cozier. Yeah, but also... fire hazard?
This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it?
Where does the audience sit, though, for the nightly Shakespeare performances?
Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What?
Then you could practice your art every single day.
What, slamming the desk? Sure. I'll think about it. And if you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge.
You know? Well, if that would help you achieve your goal. You know, honestly, I was thinking, I think I could probably pull off drag, so that's not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
This I have to see. And unfortunately, he did not see.
There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just a wine glass and a bottle. And both of them are cracked.
Yeah, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Prosecutor Lord Van Zeeks?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy.
No, he has to, or else he'll go crazy on stage. Sorry, in court. You can suggest it the next time we meet. If you want to incur his wrath. Window tax!
As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in a property? It's extraordinary. It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh! What is it, Mrs. Sato? If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose. Huh. Oh, damn. Wait, what? Soap? More soap? What the What is with this guy and soap? Yes, it looks like as though an amateur's broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamspear who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room. Look at this, Mr. Naruto. Gotta keep squeaky clean. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it. What, outside? We didn't even look at the soap. What if it isn't soap? I don't know. It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap. It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps? What? Oh. It's more bars of soap. Oh, I guess they just didn't want to put the snow on it. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? I have no idea. But the pairs of them look really rather charming like that. Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all. Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap. Oh damn. Stamp? Do you see, in the middle there? There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but... some sort of fancy design, I suppose? Only in Great Britain. It looks like the Hinomata flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. I mean, I guess, if you really think about it. It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? There's cocaine in that bar of soap. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Who? Oh, looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Inspector Gregson, back so soon? After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, the place will be cordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low being back in a cell again so soon. I'm sure— oh my god, he's not dead! What the fuck? He's not dead! I'm sure we should probably go and, What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh my god. Ah! He really did just eat soap. That's crazy. Out, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player. Walk through the shadow of a valley of death. I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Oh. That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. No, how sounded the next part? I don't remember quite. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Oh, are you a fan? Are you a fan of Shakespeare, Gregson? Indeed! Oh, happy day! What? What? Gregson's so nonchalant about this. He's like, yeah, you know, Shakespeare zombies happens all the time. Walking Dead! No, just dramatic.
The fella isn't dead at all!
Wait, I'm sorry. Priorities, I guess. Hold on, Gregson, I thought you, like, knew this, and that's why you answered him. But you answered him first, and then you're like, oh, actually, he's alive? What the fuck? I think he actually just was eating soap. He got so sick he passed out, and then he passed out again. Oh, this game's so silly, bro.
The fella isn't dead at all!
What was that nonsense he was saying, though?
I think... Yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Okay, so his name is straight up just Shamspeare? He's not like a, you know, legally distinct Shakespeare? His name's actually just Shamspeare. I think I'm gonna lose my mind. I've already lost it. Both yours and mine.
A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
I'm sorry, you just knew that off the top of your head? Susato! Are you a theater kid? Shakespeare... That's like... Oh, that's like a guy, right? Is he, like, famous? So it was... that the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him. Shakespeare's copyright free. Yeah. Next Ace Attorney game is gonna have Mickey Mouse in it. Sorry, Steamboat Willie. But I guess the Conan Doyle, or not Conan Doyle. Oh yeah, Conan Doyle. The Conan Doyle estate is just like, we can't let go of Sherlock Holmes. I'm so sorry, even though it's been in, like, pretty much every single piece of detective media ever. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that now was. He's fine. He's just gay, I think. Oh, hello. Who the hell are you? Briar Road.
Whatever do you think will happen now?
A good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shamspeare did consume poison as we deduced. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come into anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? Hi. What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. There's no...
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto?
Excuse me. Could we have a word? What the fuck? Are you a bobblehead? Oh! Is that Popeye? He just ran off. Okay.
I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
I do too, but I don't remember. Did he also show up with Shamspeare when he showed up in the first game? I don't remember. With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live, all the windows are bricked up. Bricked up?
Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows as a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows.
But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened again, surely.
Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to have to have the work done.
Yeah, that is a sad state of affairs.
Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsume, who have all lived all cooped up in a windowless room.
Suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation.
It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that.
What's that green thing, though?
There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garida residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact.
That one seems very warped, though, especially the front rail. Is it to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? Or are they just poor?
No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel has to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly affected.
Oof, he's dead. Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on this bicycle, I think.
Oh dear, I fear you may be right.
He's dead. He has been killed. That's crazy. Snowman! Was he always this happy? I love you, Snowman. Why somebody built the snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think?
That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruto. That's part of the snowman's body.
Really? But already has a perfectly good body.
Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner.
Wait, really? Huh. I mean, in America, we make them with 3, generally. Now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man. I know how he feels.
If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs.
Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much?
I can't help it.
That's just how she thinks, man. William Robbins. London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky's covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built. Huh.
Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centerpiece of the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time.
Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems.
Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself.
I'm sure there'll be a murder there. You think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry? Also, I think you're gonna be sent back home.
The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success, to outdo the Paris Exposition.
I see. That's an incredible number of people, I think. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed.
There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruto.
I don't have clients, Susato. I don't have money. You have to understand. Please understand. Let's go to the Gyarados. Hello. Oh no. No, it's like kind of cleaned up, I think. Maybe. Hard to tell. Here we go again. Eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garrideb's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
You chaps say? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation and call yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garrideb as anyone, really.
Came straight back here after all the business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bully nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garrideb.
Yeah, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room.
Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Oh! You're standing on your own. That's cool. Let's see. Oh, you still haven't cleaned up. Unfortunate. These shelves look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast.
Reminds me of the Battle of my one, don't you know?
The experiences of a seasoned veteran. He looks like a moon, yes. Like, he's supposed to be the moon and his wife is the sun. And I think it's pretty cute, but she, you know, accidentally murdered somebody, or almost murdered somebody.
Enemy had us surrounded on all sides. Really thought we were done for, the old bully company. We were taking a real pounding from that cannon, so all we could do was run for our lives.
Oh, thought that story was going in a different direction, actually. One where you don't seem like a loser.
Well, the whole experience told me one thing I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for.
Ugh. It's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. Old guy. That's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there. I feel sure that it was full of cakes when we first investigated in here as well.
Yes, quite right. I haven't touched it since. Haven't cleaned it up either. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know.
It's been like a day. Oh. Time has stood still? Now, that's an interesting phrase. I might be able to use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office.
You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruto.
Did I say that out loud, or are you psychic? We know what that screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fiery altercation the other day.
Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Oh dear. This must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say people talk about twists of fate and whatnot. But this is a twist and a half, a rotten show all around.
Clearly struggling with everything that's happened. Rip to your wife, man, but I'm different. You look very dashing in your uniform there, Mr. Garrideb.
That old portrait drawn by an art student who used to rent the room downstairs. You aren't one of them homosexuals, are you? Who calls another man dashing?
Me, yes. I do have a boyfriend, so I'm not hitting on you, sir.
Oh, you look so wonderfully young, and courageous and strong.
Yes, well, the chap presented it to me one day and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent in return.
Oh, I see. So, you did, presumably. Wait, hold on. An art student who used to rent the room downstairs. Is that the fucking... That's him. That's... Miss Green's, like, brother? Lover? Question mark? I don't know who he is. But that's him. Because he had a paintbrush in his hand. Olive is a art student. And... yeah. Games can hear you outside the game, I'm convinced. Yeah. They did, presumably?
I bully well did not.
Oh.
A portrait's a portrait, but rent is rent. Eh?
And yet it's still there, proudly on the wall. Do you at least, like, give him a discount that month, dude? Jeez. Shit. Ah, yes, those enormous mortar shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it?
Didn't you say something about firing them into the barracks, Mr. Garadab?
Ah, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. Ugh, what are you doing firing on your own men? The captain bellowed at me. I'm not surprised the little mishap doesn't really do it justice.
I'm not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do it justice, does it?
Hell, one has these little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private.
Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display.
Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments?
I mean, what the hell would I even exhibit? Evidence? Good to see Mr. Garadab's Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall.
The inscription reads, "For distinguished participation," if you remember.
Yeah, I remember, because I remember thinking even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that.
I wouldn't know it to look at me now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know.
Devil-may-care? What'd you get up to?
You know, sometimes, instead of sweeping the entire barracks, I only swept about half of it. Well, all in the past now, of course, and best left there.
Best not. I want to know now. Tell me.
That's your military uniform, isn't it, Mr. Garadab?
Well, ceremonial garb, yes. Been hanging on the wall ever since my retirement bash. Not in active service now, you know. If you couldn't tell, I'm old as hell. Doesn't mean much to me anymore. You could have the old thing if you wanted it.
Okay, thanks.
Well, it might sword Lord Van Zeek's, perhaps.
No. Not with that frame. The fog.
An overly ostentatious outfit like this could be just what he needs. You know, and maybe like something like a jabot, or a cravat, or whatever the hell else.
Very tactful, Mrs. Otto. Very tactful indeed.
Oh, a copy of Rand's magazine. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes is being read all over London. Isn't it wonderful?
Naturally, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist.
He was downstairs not like 20 minutes ago, brother. Ascot, yes, that's the third thing.
But haven't met the chap, it's undeniable. He's most certainly singular.
That's my new favorite insult. You're certainly singular.
Singularly dangerous.
That's genuine public opinion for you, Mrs. Otto. Perhaps it should be reflected in the stories?
Make no mistake, Mr. Naruhodo. I intend to snuff out the sort of public opinion we just heard, personally.
Wow. What happened to democracy, Mrs. Otto? Starting to see where Mr. Sholmes' untainted reputation comes from now. What, just because he's hot? I'm allowed to make mistakes, but he's not? Shit. Cannon. There's a single apron drying on that enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Yes, cannon-shaped clothes horse.
No, Mr. Naruhodo. That's a real cannon.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I are just enjoying the peace and quiet of retirement together. Without my fucking wife. And of course, she'd come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again.
Into your apartment on the second floor? Is there some war going on that I don't know about? Well, he doesn't know. World War I hasn't happened yet, bro. The incident. Pretty privilege strikes again. Must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened.
Well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bully answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door? Bruh.
Well, I called in that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course.
Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning. Oof.
Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
Just me, you're avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden. Sussy. Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Maybe he was really worried because, like, if the guy isn't paying for the gas, then he gets less money. Mr. Shamspear. The victim's name is Mr. Shamspear, I believe. Is that right?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, William Shamspear took the ground floor from took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute? Oof.
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bully screw loose.
So hard to choose which category Soseki-san would fall into. Yes. Both. Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude. I didn't say it! I didn't say it out loud!
He was doing research as well.
Research into what?
Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare. I read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know, Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
Oh, that's kinda gay. Romeo and Hamlet? I'd fucking read it, shit. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. Sao. Sao? Why Sao? Sao? Why Sao? Hold on. I need to look up. This is gonna drive me crazy unless I know it, like, right now. Why Japanese call William Shakespeare Sao? Oh, I misspelled it. Sao. Shakespeare became so naturalized in Japan. Wait. That he assumed his own Japanese name, Sao. Are we just not gonna, like, okay. Yeah, not YouTube, fucking Google isn't telling me shit. I can confirm that he's called Sao, but, like, why? Seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. Were a lot of costumes in that victim's room, actually, weren't there? Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shamspear would have had much in common. Yeah, they were besties. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that. I mean, I've seen I've seen that as like a motive in Conan, like Detective Conan, I'm pretty sure.
Mr. Naruhodo, really? How rude.
I didn't say it. How do you know? Yesterday's events. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Well, no. Must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I go home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember, and it was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garridem noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose.
Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamspear got back. And the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, and so I'm rather in the dark here.
Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Atto?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garridem, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
He's dead. It's a very good point. Can't imagine you could hear noises from the ground floor at all. From the ground floor all the way up here. This old man, like, to spy on his tenants? Is that it? Oh.
I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's all the outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know?
Okay.
I don't go around spying on my tenants, why would I?
I don't know. Seems like something you do.
Then how did you know, Mr. Garridem?
It's the gas woman. The gas tells me everything.
The gas? The gas? The gas is speaking to you? My god. The speaking gas. It tells me the secrets of the world. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything?
Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yeah, I understand that too.
Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly. But at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment.
What? They dim, why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it.
I'm sorry, and you were just watching the lamp the entire time, brother? That's sad!
That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yeah, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. It's when, you know, your dorm mates use all of the fucking hot water and then they leave you with shitty cold water. Wow!
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out. And barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposites are so true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter than in the rest of the house.
Huh. Right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You've got it.
Okay, but Natsume could have also... It's also in Soseki Natsume's room, though.
Oh, of course. Because when people come back home in the evening before they go to sleep at night,
What they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out the lamps with fires. Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the old house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garadeb. Absolutely fascinating. I gotta feed his cat, I just remembered.
Well, nothing to it, really.
And I can't really see that it's gonna help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garadeb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. He's a little freak. I feel like there's more to it than just idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
A good idea.
Okay. Hold on. You wanna look at this soap? Mr. Garadeb, could I show you this?
In quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. Afraid I'm rather tired. Hadn't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you.
To look? Some other time, then. I love the tiny little, like shift of his, robe. It really makes the model feel alive. Huh. I still need this? That's crazy. And the map? There he is. He's sad again. He just got out, bro. I feel so bad.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? What is he? Tell me, is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess, you're talking about Mr. Sholmes.
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume. Not a ghost.
But his diabolical deductions, they're not of this world. They left me. Cursed, I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction, too.
Yeah, moving on. We have some wonderful news. Uh-oh? Am I getting out, please?
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Oh, he's not enthused about that. He's like, I thought that bitch was dead. I thought I killed him. Oh, fuck. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible.
Oh.
I'm stuck in this cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You didn't you confess you're a killer? Why the mustache? I mean, yeah, why the mustache? Constant questions. Sorry to hear that. Oh, that selfish shyster. Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you are going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly wishy-washy William! Oh, so you're on first name terms with him. You're besties, aren't you?
Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shamspeare was never actually dead in the first place.
Yes, that might make sense. And I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh!
Oops. God damn it. Mr. Natsume, does this mean That you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shamspear, didn't you? I like his anxiety pupils. I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. I am your lawyer. Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Oh, why am I cursed like this? What happened, brother? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that the case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up taking a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that that was only yesterday.
Literally. What the hell? That was like several weeks ago for me. After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening, at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamspear. So, you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before. It was the first time! Then, what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garrett said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9, or just after, when I took him to some nice tea I'd brewed as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then.
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet! Who was stronger? It was a delightful debate. This is literally when, like, middle school boys argue over which anime shonen protagonist is stronger. And it's like, Goku could beat his ass. The correct answer is One Punch Man, by the way. Because he simply cannot lose because it's funniest when he wins.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare! And the debate became very heated, so he slipped poison into Mr. Shamspear's tea? No, never, not at all. Team Juliet won, that was me, and when I left his room, you know what? Slay. The flamboyant fellow was fighting fit! I swear it categorically! Flamboyant is certainly a word. Cursed existence. Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence? Oh, I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me. You get involved in murders regardless, dude. You went back to Japan and then immediately got bullied by a reporter.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me, they all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. I think that's the anxiety, brother. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week ago I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why'd you choose that place? Doesn't seem very good or comfortable. It was fucking cheap, okay? Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. Oh, shit, baby! The fucking artist, okay. That's probably, like, Olive Green's, like, brother or something. They have the same hair. They can't be, like, dating. Surely. Surely. no! He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. Well, yeah, but that's why the rent was cheap. I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money! A horrible history is a small price to pay! Oh, when I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. I mean, honestly, mood. Brave or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was. Gosh, it was really so awful? How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened? At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me. Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was somewhere else. It was someone else. Again, anxiety, man. Makes you see a lot of shit. Makes you hear a lot of shit. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to that place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me! I think that's, again, your cat. That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night, too. The very same night that Mr. Shamspeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room. You simply must move out of the room as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. I know it, and that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Like maybe one where there isn't, like, you know, dead people. Also, like, relevant, I just watched Sinister for the first time with my friends. And seeing a guy, like, willingly move into a house where, like, 4 people got murdered is crazy. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history. Susato-san knows how to make the man listen. Of course. The Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse in my room as well. You mean Mr. Garadeb? Yes. He knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place. Ah, perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shamspeare isn't, in fact, dead at all. Once he's come round and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Excuse me. Oh,
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson.
Couldn't help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, some good news and some bad news. Good news, he's alive. Bad news, you're still gonna be in jail.
Oh.
What you want first?
Always, every time. The bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle.
Right, well, in that case, the good news it is.
Rip. Huh?
Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
And why did you ask me my preference?
As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamspear, was just unconscious. He's come around now.
Yeah, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. Like a fucking zombie, he rose.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume? Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell.
Sorry, no, that's not in the cards.
What? Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shamspear has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't mean...
Sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. By sweet poison did he seeketh to end my life. That wicked caitiff. A Soseki Natsume.
No, fuck. Again, bro?
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations.
No! He's so silly. And so, once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Ba-dum-bum! Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I know I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court, and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. Or to be continuing here? Or not? Oh, yeah, we are, okay. I mean, I guess that's like around 3 hours worth. But man, if my theory is right... Oh wait, no. Because the artist kid would have to be, like, related somehow. But, like, he's dead. But is it, like, Miss Olive? Like, Olive Green, maybe? I don't know, man. Like, she's gotta testify at some point, right? But, like, how? She can't have witnessed the murder. No. This is gonna have to wait till next time. Because doing Gregson and Garradeb at the same fucking stream is murder on the vocal cords. Hold on, I want to play this theme. Yeah. Alright. Okay, like tentative theory. Tentative theory. I think maybe the actor resented Mr. Natsume for some reason. Maybe because of the Romeo-Juliet thing. I don't know, man. But, like, how does the artist kid, like, play into it, is my question. And Miss Olive Green has to also play into it. So, like, I don't get it. Obviously, the murder, like, the motive for the murder, or, like, attempted murder, at least. Maybe there's gonna be an actual murder. I don't know. Maybe. That might be a thing that comes up later. I don't know. But I'll have to figure all of that out next time. Also, did I... Like, was that all... Also, there's that, like, Popeye-looking guy. He's a person. Did I ever look at that soap? Shit. I'm gonna have to look at the soap. Eventually. I do think that, like, the soap is maybe, like, smuggling cocaine, and that Popeye-looking motherfucker is, like, taking it from the windowsill, and the, like, what's-his-face, the, like, fairy boy, you know, Shamspear. I think Shamspear was, like, selling the drugs. Popeye was delivering the drugs. And then Natsume maybe saw something that would have, like, that Natsume wouldn't have known about. But, like, he saw something that if he pointed it out to, like, the court or something, it would have been the end of his little, like, soap drug dealing business, right? But how the fuck does the artist kid play into it? That's the real question. I legitimately do not know. But it'll wait. Tomorrow, I'll be on Twitch streaming what is presumably the finale of Persona 3 Reload episode Aegis. I don't know if it'll actually be, but we can pray. Because that's been on the schedule for God knows how long at this point. What, 2 months? And then on Thursday, I'll be streaming Slay the Princess for, like, to wrap up Halloween, because that's a spooky game with a spooky princess waifu. All right, I'll see you all then over on Twitch. And then I'll play Ace Attorney Investigations on Friday here on YouTube. Alright, bye-bye! Thank you for watching, bye-bye!